Hey everyone, Joan here. Going to take a quick look at the block that Bill was showing us in class today. So I have it here on the right side, and you'll see it's a wooden block toy that has it's 2¼ inches. It has a depth of 1 1/8 inch, and it's a height of 1 1/8 inch with a little semicircle cut through it. So I've opened up in Autodesk Fusion, and I'm on a new sketch. I'm going to click over here, Create Sketch. When I click that, I get to look at the different planes. For what we're making, the plane does not necessarily matter. Where it matters is when we're using it to put it in an assembly at a later date. So I'm just hovering over these to take a look. I'm going to choose the XY plane here. And to know that you're on that, it's a different color because I'm hovering my mouse. And you see how there's red here and green on that axis. If you look over here at the view cube, you can see X and Y. So that looks similar to my red and green here. So I'm going to click that and it brings it in front of me. Now, we're going to use the rectangular tool feature, which is up here in the left corner. And you might find that when you click on it and you click the origin, I'm left clicking, you might find that when you see the blue highlighted, sometimes they come up in millimeters and you wanted to do this particular one in inches. To change, I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard. And I'm going to show you how to change units just in case you need to. So over on the right side, you see your name if you're logged in. When you click on it, you'll see Preferences drop down. When you click on Preferences, a menu pops up. It's a little blurry on my screen. I hope you see it a little better. On the left side, come all the way down to Default Units and Design. Hit the word Design. In Design, you can toggle between millimeters, centimeters, meters, inches, and feet. Super tiny. I'm going to click on inches. I'm already in there. Normally, you would click Apply and hit OK. If it doesn't apply to the sketch you're already in, you might just have to X out and start over if you're trying to change. So we're going to use the 2-point rectangle tool. I clicked on it in the top left. I'm going to click on the origin, drag to the right. If you didn't click yet, and my mouse is still moving, and you see the blue highlighted, you can use the Tab key on your keyboard to toggle in between the dimensions. So I've toggled to the bottom by hitting Tab. I'm going to type in 2.25. I know it's in inches because I see it on my screen when I come over here, so I don't have to type it. It will do it as a default. The height we know to be 1 1/8, so 1.125. Now if I hit enter, I get my rectangle. So I didn't have to click, I just used my keyboard. I use Tab to toggle between the two dimensions. So I have this now in front of me. I want to move it so I can see it a little bit better. I'm going to come down here to the hand tool. It's called Pan. Click on that. When you click on that, it moves your screen around without interacting with your model, your objects, your sketch lines. Doesn't ruin anything. Just moves it so you can get it in front of you. We like that. See a little bit better. As I scroll, you'll see the grid change. Now I'm going to come up to the circle tool. It's center diameter circle. It's default up here. Click it. Zoom in a little bit more. If you hover along the bottom line here, do you see when you get right to the center, triangle pops up? That means I'm in the center. I don't have to look for it. Left click, and then you'll drag your circle. Now I can see by Bill's dimension on the right side here, it says 3/4. So I know I'm not going to type in 3/4 because that's the radius, and I'm doing a circle. So I'm going to be in dimensions. So that's up for me to figure out that it's double. So 1.5. It also looks like his picture. So if I had typed in 0.75, like he has 3/4 in his picture, you see how small that is? So that's for something for you to eyeball until you become accustomed to it. So 1.5, enter. When I hit enter, it makes my circle stay in its place. It becomes part of my object. So now I'm going to use the modify tool. We call this the trim tool, little scissor. And because I have a line dissecting the circle, I can click and get rid of the bottom circle. Now you can get rid of this part, but I'm going to show you what happens if you leave it here. So I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard. Don't worry about the warnings. Hit escape twice. Scroll out a little bit. If you come up to the right side, you'll see a house. Click the house. Changes the view to a nice isometric view. And when you do an extrusion, it will give you a better view of what you're doing. So hit E on your keyboard, and it gives you the opportunity to select the profile. I'm only going to select the part that looks like his block. When I do that, it ignores the semicircle. So if I clicked it, I'm just going to get a rectangle, but I don't want that. I only want this part. So it really didn't matter if I trimmed that line in the bottom there. When I choose here, I have to choose which direction I'm going, and I'm going to type, he has 1 1/8, so 1.125. And he actually had it going backwards there, but you can see for this particular object, it does not matter. It does not matter forward or back unless I'm going to use it in an assembly somewhere else. And even then you can reposition it later. If I put in a negative, it puts it behind that line. Either way, whether you go forward or back, positive or negative, if you were to save this in 3D printed, you would come up with that object, and that negative or positive, that placement on the plane would not matter. So I'm going to hit OK or enter on my keyboard, and I'm all done. A good rule of thumb, and I should have done this earlier, is to save your work as you start. Click the top down here, the little page, and click Save. And Autodesk Fusion is a cloud-based save. So I'm going to type in block 1. I've already made a folder. You can make a folder, keep all your stuff in one place. Then you can share your projects with other people. So you see the name change up here. If you want to see your folders, you can take a look at it over here. You can. Here we go. All your folders. So you'll see it here. Those are my attempts earlier. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.